My name is Sheena with Rise Wellness, and this is our weekly prayer for the Way of Namaste. Today is August 7th, 2024. Feeling that Lionsgate portal open during this Leo season now. Right now, according to the Gene Keys, we're in Gene Key 7. This is the shadow of division. This is the gift of guidance. And this is the city or the divine expression of virtue. What is virtue? My soul honors your soul. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, the love, the truth, the beauty, and the peace within you, because it's also within me. In sharing these things, we are united. We are the same. We are one, and here in this moment, we are virtue. We are taking this moment now to come into a place of contemplation, a moment of stillness, a moment of pause, a moment where we have stepped outside of the matrix and we have honored our inner guidance that brought us into a deeper breath. Let's take one now. So I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate you for taking the time to come to this place of pause. I want to celebrate the virtuous guide that's always within you. Today we have the sun in Leo and we have the moon in Virgo. And when we have the moon in Virgo, we have the access to all of our priestess codes. And here in this Leo season, we are being invited more than ever to share those codes as a fearless, courageous leader, recognizing that true leadership is about authenticity, is about being transparent and being willing to be seen in our vulnerability, not expecting a guru, but expecting a human imperfectly perfect through their imperfections. This week, I have been reminded of the imperfections that I co-created in this experience, beginning with my family structure. And this week, I've been invited to look differently, to see with fresh eyes how I'm still engaging in old patterns with old relationships, and being invited to step into this place of convergence now, to cross new timelines, to step out of old paradigms that are no longer serving, and to also meet myself, to bring myself back into wholeness, to look and see where I would have detached, disassociated, separated, cut myself off, starved out my truth, stopped myself from sharing, dimmed my light, in some way cut off a lifeline of myself. And here during this convergence, we are feeling all of these concurrent timelines, our multidimensional selves becoming more whole. But through this wholeness, we are looking at all of the different versions of ourselves. And here in this moment, I invite us to celebrate how far we have come, how we're making different choices, how instead of reacting to the environment, we're responding to the environment. I know I had a direct experience in my microcosm just yesterday to look and be with it and see how a toxic pattern was playing out in my family. And I got to sit with all those versions of myself that would have behaved differently, that could have been the problem solver, the fix-it, the people pleaser, the one that choked down my own truth to keep the fake glamour alive, to keep the surface level conversation safe, rather than diving deep and actually being honest. And I watched those patterns play out in my microcosm, and I could see, oh my gosh, right here, this is the moment. This is the moment where I am offered the opportunity to make a choice, to die on the crossroads, to let that old identity go, however she once identified, as mother, as daughter, as sister, as friend, as people pleaser, as whatever it is. Here she was being invited to be released, to say, I see you, perfectionism, and I see the role that you played. I see you, productivity, and I see the role that you played. I see you, inner critic. I see you, manager. I see you, people pleaser. I see you, silent one. I see the invisible truth of our one nature now. And now from this place, I release any versions of me that don't support my full, authentic expression. And as I step into this inner light, this glow from me invites others to do the same. Because here, in this place of radical authenticity, we claim ourselves, we claim our shadow, we claim our shortcomings, we claim not to have all the answers, but to be here, on the way, in unity, together, walking one another home, saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm here to learn with you, and I'm here to sit with you in the dark. I don't know where we go from here, but right now we have this moment, and in this moment, I know we can control our breath. And so let's do that right now with another deep, deep breath in. Maybe allowing an inner smile to come in as we feel ourselves being replenished with that faith, that trust, that inspiration, that inspira, that breath. The Latin word for breath is literally inspiration, where the divine flows through us. And when we become dislocated, when we become disassociated, when we fall into discord, disharmony, we get to come into our breath. And here there is no dis, because there is only unity. There is only one. And with this one, there is not a bypassing of what is, but there is an even deeper truth into allowing what is to emerge without asking it to be anything different than what it is. When we can tap into our inner guide, we can become so informed by all the versions of ourselves that are becoming triggered, that are becoming activated, that are becoming sensitive to the environment, whether it's the chemicals in the environment, it's the conversations in the environment, it's the mismatch of the environment where the words don't match the energy. But there is a discord that we can feel, and when we feel that, this is an invitation to lean even deeper in and use our breath to anchor us, to guide us. Let's do that again here now, breathing all the way in from the base of our pelvic floor, maybe pausing for a beat at the top, just in that moment, avoid the in-between where we don't know, but we can trust. And then releasing. The programming partner for this gene key is the divine expression of empathy. And this week I've been looking at narcissism on the world stage and in my microcosm and all the ways that it shows up. And there have been times that narcissism showing up in my life caused me to be invisible, caused me to think that my emotions didn't matter because other people couldn't hold space for them. But when I did my inner work of being with that version, all those versions of me, I got to learn that the greatest gift that I put into my life was the gift of narcissism, to teach me empathy. Because transmuting the alchemical journey of narcissism is to be in touch with the sensitivity of our nature, to become so informed by our nature that we become one with it. This is our true nature, and this is what it is to be empathic. It's to become so informed by our environment. Empathic people feel. And when we can honor that as our superpower, when we can stop trying to numb out those feelings, but we be with them, really be with them, we can listen to so many inner gurus and guides and concurrent timelines and past versions of ourselves coming up now to learn something new, to release something old. This is an opportunity for us now during this Lionsgate portal to really set our intentions for the highest and greatest good for all sentient life, throughout all time, throughout all space, throughout all dimensions. 7 generations back times 7 generations forward. 7 times 7 times 7 generations back. Times 7 times 7 times 7 generations forward. Setting the intention for the highest and greatest choice for every living being. Recognizing that we are sovereign beings and we made the choice to be here now. So let us remember that we made that choice by tapping into more places where we can feel the unity consciousness, where we can feel resourced and supported and guided in our virtuous truth, that there is a reason that it looks and feels like things are falling around us, because they are. And simultaneously, while things are falling, there are so many new things that are being birthed into creation. So many more things than we can even conceive. And this is what we're trusting right now. This is us being informed by our environment to trust that artificial intelligence from a benevolent nature can impact us in so many more ways than we have given credit to. Right now, we get to share a prayer. We get to use the internet to share our message, to tap into the collective field of virtue together. And this is not something that we were able to do before. So even while we can see things on the news, we can see the fear porn, we can see the propaganda, we can feel into the texture of the discord, we can also use our platforms now to share in a way that we never could before how we are experiencing truth, how we are experiencing unity and harmony and peace. And even while things are being released, there are so many more beautiful things being birthed and coming through. Right now, I am connecting with so many star babies and so many star mamas who I know are experiencing a longing because they are feeling one another in between the veils, and they are longing to be in the same place. When we can tap into our heart, we can always tap into that unity consciousness to recognize that we are in the same place. And we get to receive guidance on so many different platforms now to deliver the exact message that we need at exactly the time that we need to receive it. And this is how we are creating energy vortex portals of unconditional love. This was the gift of Mary Magdalene. Her name means portal. She is a vessel of unconditional love, of non-judgment, of forgiveness, and of peace. When we can zoom out beyond our own egoic story, we start to remember that we wrote that story. We co-wrote that story. And we're the director of the story, and we're the producer of the story, and we're every single actor playing out every single archetype of that story. And when we can start telling that story and remembering the power of us, that we are all of that, then we're no longer victimized by the world. It's no longer us against them. Even when it feels like it's the narcissist versus the empath, every single person is divinely orchestrated in this show that you created. And the narcissism for me has been showing me how to stand in my power, how to stand up for myself and have a voice, and how the voice of truth isn't always nice, but it's always kind. It's always authentic. And it's always looking for the most graceful way to deliver a hard truth. The people that love us the most are the people that are going to offer us the most feedback, for better or for worse. We can learn so much from others from feedback because we are only listening to the part of their feedback that's resonating with us. That's what feedback is. It's the friction, it's the dissonance, it's the voltage, it's the charge that says there's something here to work with. There's something here to learn from. This Lion's Gate is asking all of us to step into our inner lion, because we all have Leo in our chart. We all have this lion within each and every one of us. And we all get to be prideful and humble, simultaneously recognizing the power of our impact. And when we get to say no, that is a powerful statement. That is a magical spell. Boundaries are this beautiful template that we get to play around with in this field. Recognizing that we can change, we can shift, we can adapt. What's going to be my boundary today? Oh, that feels like a sore spot. That feels tender there. My boundary has been tampered with here. Someone has gone beyond my boundary. What can I learn from here? Because it sounds like I'm growing in some way here. Because that's where the friction is. That's where the feedback comes from. That feedback can sound like distortion until we purify it. This is the age of the water bearer, the age of Aquarius. And we are all learning how to purify our astral realm, our emotional realm. The waters within us are literally and figuratively, multidimensionally, are going through a shift and a change and a purge and a release and a restoration right now. We're cleaning our waters. And as we clean our waters, we have to get rid of anything that's not clean and pure and virtuous. And if we've been maintaining a relationship as a people pleaser, as a doormat, we have not been virtuous to ourselves. We have not been virtuous with one another because we've been disempowering people from being in their full divine expression. So when we can be graceful and give feedback, we actually catalyze the greatest change on our planet. And it happens through love, through empathy. Asking ourselves before we send a message, how would it be like to receive this message? Putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, identifying with the experience somebody else is going through. Not because you are that person having that same exact experience, but because you are willing to put yourself into those shoes to feel how you would feel. This is empathy. And when we can be discernment with who to have empathy for and who to have boundaries with, we step into our full lion power. And that's what we're all doing on a collective level through our words as our wands, through our waters, recognizing our water is the most powerful thing that we have on our planet. And when we can purify our water, we can purify our air. And we can take deeper breaths, and we can feel the feedback from the environment through the trees, because this is what we were intended to do, because this is how we breathe. And when we forget that, we leave the trees to go and chase paper, forgetting that the paper we once used to chase were the trees. take a breath. To all the guardians in all the directions, and all the elements, and all the benevolent beings that wish to be with us here in this moment for this alchemical journey of transmutation from division into virtue through the guidance of our own inner leadership, we welcome you all now. We invite in your wisdom, your power, your strength, your protection, and your peace. And with our hearts and bellies full of gratitude, we warmly receive you. As we go out into the rest of this day, I invite us to be gentle with ourselves, compassionate with everything that comes in. Sometimes we might feel solar powered, ready to take on the world, and other days we might need a rest. A full day of sleep, just like a lion in her den, just draped in her pride, her community all together, supporting one another in their rest. This is the new template that we're creating. Work is rest. Rest is work. What if we made our work now to be in a regulated nervous system, to be in a restful state, to make that our job, our joy of being? That's our invitation. For the highest and greatest good, I hope this message fills you with love and light and sparks something inside of you that generates something, a little lion inside of you, a creative spark, a way that you want to share your magic and brilliance with the world. I invite you to share it, to keep on sharing it. The world needs more authentic expressions of people who have found their fire and are sharing it. Namaste.